your hair. I can't believe it. It's actually been quite nice to get it all just chopped off because I was getting sick of having what looked like a mullet mop on my head. Anyway, back to the Revisiting SCFC Manager series. Obviously, I haven't posted. I was meant to put this one up last week, but I thought I don't want to overindulge you with too many videos. People might end up getting sick of us after a while. And there were more important things I wanted to talk about with regard to Sunderland, obviously. But let's get into it. So obviously, in the last episode, we left off in October 2015. Dick Advocat, as you all know, I didn't really rate. I didn't think he was good enough. Left, and then you've got the lovely Big Sam, Mr. Avoid Relegation. But you know what it is? He came in and he was the person I wanted at the time. Allardyce was available and thought, you know what? That's a good appointment. Let's just get on with it. And, obviously Allardyce's reign started with a 1-0 defeat away at West Brom, which I went to, which wasn't very good, to say the least. But Allardyce was the fourth manager to start his tenure at Sunderland with a defeat and then beat Newcastle in his second game in charge, which is crazy. So you had Di Canio, Poyet, Advocat, and now Allardyce. That's a bonkers statistic when you think about it. We beat them 3-0, let's be honest. We did not play well that game at all, I thought. And I said afterwards, I thought we were extremely lucky to win. You could argue everything wouldn't have happened had it not been for the red card, but ultimately it did happen and we converted the penalty. And then, obviously, we scored another 2 goals in the second half, which was capped off by a wonderful volley from Stephen Fletcher, who, by the way, I still said at the time I still didn't rate him. I still didn't think he scored consistently enough for me to really, have faith that he was going to be the man to lead the line for Sunderland going forward. But we kind of stuttered after that for the rest of 2015. We had a half-decent November when, I think, after 2 defeats to Everton and Southampton, that we then beat Palace and Stoke. But then, if I remember, I think if in order, it was Arsenal, Watford, Chelsea, Man City and Liverpool. We lost all 5 games in December. And it was that Watford home game that disappointed me because I felt we should have been at least getting a draw out of that game, if not a win. But the other ones I didn't expect anything from. I expected absolutely zero, and that it was only the Watford game that was disappointing for me. But it then started to change a bit when we beat Villa 3-1. Now, if you remember, going into that game, us and Villa were second, bottom and bottom, respectively. And had we not I thought at the time, if we didn't beat Villa, that was probably going to be a real uphill battle. But thankfully, we beat them 3-1. And thankfully, we then followed that up with a win against Swansea. Of course, in between that, we lost to Arsenal in the FA Cup. We then lost to Spurs, drew with Bournemouth, and then but the biggest thing that happened in that January was the 3K signings. Obviously, we signed Steve Harper and Damon Doy, but barely anyone remembers them. Not necessarily because we didn't rate them. I didn't think Ndoye was that. In hindsight, I said Ndoye was terrible, but he actually wasn't that bad when you think about it. Just didn't really offer as much. As far as as far as the 3Ks, Corney, Wabi Kazri, Lamin Corney, and Jan Kirchhoff. This is one of the things that really I love a lot about Allardyce. Allardyce, for me, since I've got into football, has probably been the only Sunderland manager that has identified what Sunderland lack in the team and went out and fixed it and went out and got players that suited what we needed. I am baffled as to how other managers can't do that. And obviously everyone remembers Corney. Let's go past the rubbish Corney. Let's look at the good one. Corney flattened Yaya Toure, who at the time was one of the best players in the Premier League. And left him in a heap on the floor. That was absolutely incredible. I don't know how on earth he managed to have the strength and the confidence to just slam Yaya Toure to the ground. Thankfully, Toure was all right, but that was an incredible debut in some respects. And we lost to Man City 1-0, but literally, I've never seen us play so well against a top 6 side. We should have easily got something out of that. February again was stop-start. Obviously, we had a lot of legal issues off the pitch to deal with, which I'm not going to go into here, of course. But we drew at Liverpool, and then we beat Manchester United, lost at West Ham. But then this is when we started to see a pattern here, and we started to see that Sunderland were being very direct, got forward quickly, and we were very functional. And I would even go as far to say quite a good sight to watch. I thought we were quite a very good, entertaining team to look at and watch us play on the pitch. I was very impressed with the way Allardyce set us up. And of course, Allardyce has this reputation of a long ball, hoofball manager. But I think Sunderland fans would, for the most part, agree. I don't think the football we played in the Big Sam was long ball at all. I really don't think it was. I think there was a clear identity. There were players that were giving 100% every week, and we had a lot of energy, and we were pressing a lot. That was something, and obviously as we go later on into the season, we drew 1-1 at Newcastle when you can say the foul throw thing, but we had half the pitch to stop the goal. Yedlin gave the foul throw. Yes, he shouldn't have done it, but he gave the foul throw away in Newcastle's half. If you can't stop the pitch, we had enough time there to stop the goal going in. Damondoy got beaten far too easily down the down his right, like Newcastle's left-hand side. Sorry, Newcastle's right, his left-hand side rather. Wijnaldum put a cross in, and Yedlin was never going to beat Mitrovic in the air. But in the end, that turned out to be a crucial point, because after that we drew to West Brom, lost to Leicester, but then for me, the result that kept us up was Norwich 0, Sunderland 3. I'm sure much of the guys that talk Norwich City, I'm sure to their despair, but I remember they said they felt quite down about when, very low when we beat them 3-0. Well, I felt just as low when Norwich beat us earlier that season, but that was a crucial victory. And then since then, we didn't lose another. After that Leicester game, we didn't lose a game for the rest of the season. We beat Norwich, drew with Arsenal and Stoke. Then, probably for me, two of the best atmospheres I've ever experienced at the Stadium of Light. Chelsea was one of them. The singular, most explosive moment I can describe as is when Defoe hit that winner in Sunderland 3, Chelsea 2 in May 2016. When Defoe put us 3-2 up, and bearing in mind we were losing twice in that game, and Minoni had to make a great save in order to keep us in the game. Once we went 3-2 up, I've never heard an atmosphere like it since, and that just goes to show what you can get if players, that's what players and management should be striving for. Even if we only have about 30,000, or 25 to 30,000, it doesn't matter. That was singularly the best moment I've experienced. And then obviously we had Sunderland 3, Everton 0. Now, of course, some element of this is down to the fact we relegated Newcastle. I'm not going to pretend it wasn't. It was a great night to relegate your rivals, but more importantly than that, it was the fact that, because this relegation battle stressed the hell out of me, I was so desperate to stay up with the team that we developed and the manager that we had, and I felt that if we stayed up, we could really start to kick on. And once we stayed up, I thought, right, assuming Allardyce stays, and assuming that we're actually given proper backing in the window, relative to financial fair play, of course, then we really could have started to kick on. But then, of course, the bombshell happened. Thanks, Roy Hodgson, and thanks, England. Hate yous now more than ever. Thank you. You helped ruin our football. Obviously, yeah, we had enough time since to stop the collision course. But Allardyce, of course, left for England, which you can't blame him for. And I'd recommend you go listen to Graham Falk's What the Falk podcast with Sam Allardyce. It's a really great listen. Well, it's great and depressing at the same time. And I know I'm pretty sure he knows I don't mean that in a bad way. Allardyce had claimed on his podcast that basically if England hadn't come calling, he would have stayed at Sunderland. So, look guys, that's it. Allardyce for me is my favourite Sunderland manager because for a couple of reasons. One, because the football was very good. Certainly towards the back end of the season, we were very competitive, very energetic, very direct. We pressed a lot. And also, and again, the biggest thing is that he identified what we needed in the window and went and got it. It's as simple as that. And I don't know how other managers can't look at what Sam did and think, we could replicate that, or we could at least identify what we need and go and look for those players. Allardyce was, could you argue Allardyce got lucky in the window? Possibly. But I think a lot of it is down to his nous when it comes to scouting players. He identifies what you need and he goes and gets it. Anyway, guys, I'll love yous and leave yous. Obviously, now this is when things really start to go messed up, shall we say. So, thank you very much for watching. Thanks again for the birthday wishes I got last week. And thanks for the continued support. I'll love yous and leave yous there. And next time, we'll have the lovely David Moyes. But one last thing, Big Sam, you're more than welcome to come back anytime soon, mate.